this time so I don't catch the ire of Michael from the beginning. And since we have a guest on today, I got to do the intro right. Otherwise, Michael's going to bring us down again for like 5 minutes, and then we'll have to snap back up. And we don't want to have to go through that again, right? So we're going to start.
Don't think I didn't notice.
I noticed it. Like I had a little anxiety before I got on. I'm like, right, if I don't nail this intro, then like Michael's gonna be like just waiting to pounce on any mistake that I happen to make. But welcome everyone. This is gonna be a fun episode. Joining me as always is Michael McAllister. Michael, how are you doing today, my friend?
I am great this morning. I'm great. How you doing, Frazier?
I'm doing great, man. Any day with you is a good day, right?
Oh, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
I said it because Kim's on.
I'm
trying to be nice for Kim, right? Like I'm trying to be nice, trying to be professional. And guys, if you're watching this, you're seeing it. And if you're listening to it, you ain't. But we have a great guest on. We have Kimberlee McAllister joining us. Kim, how's it going?
It is going. It is Friday, and I'm ready for this.
All right. You're braving the waters of being on a podcast with
you two that. So
hardly a podcast.
Hardly a podcast.
Hardly a podcast, right? I don't think we have any listeners anymore. Downloads.
The kids do. Our kids listen to it. They like it.
Oh, they do? Oh, awesome. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, okay. Then they get to hear me all in my great tone and word usage, right? So I guess I'll keep it clean now that I know that. I'll keep it clean.
Oh, no. They live with us.
Okay, well, I'll say hi to the kids. Hi, kids. Thank you for being our top listeners. I was regular. Like we had two solid listeners. So that's awesome. That's awesome. We were going negative downloads, but
their favorite part is when you talk shit to me.
100%. 100%. It is so funny.
All right. Well, then we know what to focus on. So
yes.
All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about all the things that Michael does wrong, and that's why I had Kim on, because no one has a better insight on that than Kim. But really, what we're talking about is one thing it's not just in the mortgage industry. Like you're always going to have hey, that's my sister, it's my it's my cousin, it's my brother. Like I said, for those that know me, like this was mortgage is a family business with me. So I worked with my wife. My wife worked at the same company, different departments though, because we wanted to stay married. And that is why this is a great episode, because we're actually going to talk about the dynamic of working in this industry and working at Empower LO as a husband-wife team with Michael and Kim. And so I thought it'd just be a good conversation to see how you guys do it, the fun, the maybe not so fun, but just talking about how this even as on the vendor side, it bleeds into this industry is a family business. Just when you get down to it, really good friends, and like I said, parents, sons, daughters, all in between. So what is it like? Like how did it? Well, let me take a step back. How did it when you guys started Empower? Did you work together from the very beginning, or how did that all come together?
It was only in a really small capacity, because actually Empower started at the very end of my pregnancy, and in the hospital he was doing all of the things for Empower. We were just now getting started, and so I wasn't exactly in a position to give everything to that. And then it very, very slowly progressed after that. Once I was kind of ready to get out of the house, it was okay, I'm gonna go make sure everything's taken care of at the office, make sure it's cleaned up, make sure everybody has what they need. Then once we had enough billing and customers and stuff, I kind of took over on that. And then, just kind of grew from there. I have always been somewhat a part of it, but definitely was not his partner in the business starting out.
So in between contractions, he was running Google ads, right? He's hold on.
Sure. No, he's not a piece of shit, guys. I don't want anybody to think that. He of course was working. He was working on it, but he wasn't a piece of shit about it.
This is funny because Kimberlee and I have an experience with we're not going to name drop on this one. I name dropped on the last episode, and I'm still waiting for the cease and desist on that one. But on this one, a prominent, let's just say a prominent figure in the mortgage industry who also runs a high level instance we were working with him on his high level instance very early in his journey. And he was he's having his first kid in the hospital, preemie, freaking crazy.
She was like in surgery.
She's in surgery, he's in scrubs, and he's FaceTiming me to talk about the high level instance. And Kimberlee,
he's not joking.
Kimberly's like, I fucking hate this guy.
I fucking hate this guy. I fucking hate this guy. He's the worst.
Hey, multitasking. I don't know. What is he gonna do? He's not doing the surgery.
He said, I keep telling her to hurry up. I was like, oh my God, I swear to God, if you said something to him.
And did Michael catch strays just for talking with him? Is that
oh yeah,
yeah, Michael 100%. Was just the biggest.
She was upset at me about it. She never met him, but she was like, that. Why do you associate with this guy?
Exactly. I love when I catch just default hate from something because I'm in the room, right?
It's one of those things. If I say that I hate someone, you immediately need to be like, yeah, fuck that guy.
All right, this is off to a great start. So, I think we actually I skipped over an area. So, Kim, what is your role at Empower right now? What do you do for people that don't know you? Even though
I mostly still just come in and make sure everybody has coffee, things like that. No, I'm just kidding. I am the vice president, and I work really on everything with Michael, but specifically our enterprise clients are kind of where my heart is. I work with all of them to implement their company-wide solutions.
Great. Yeah. So basically, it's all this stuff that Michael messes up on. You're there to just make sure that it's not
you could just call me the cleanup crew.
There you go.
Yeah. It's more the stuff that I promise with no plan to execute, and she's cleaning that stuff up. She's going back and delivering on the promises.
It's one thing that it was funny, because obviously, when we all got together in person for the first time in Scottsdale, it was cool. It was kind of, we all had which is a funny story, and we could maybe tell it, maybe not, but it was funny to see kind of you guys operate together, because you don't see it. You see husband wife teams and stuff like that in the industry, but it was just cool to see, just you think about it from a culture standpoint. So I know that your team members and stuff, people that are at Empower, that they enjoy that, right? They enjoy that you guys are not the same, but you work well together, and there's respect outside of just being husband and wife and whatnot. So I know I've experienced that myself, but it's just cool to see, and it's fun, and that's what I like. I like when Kim backs me up when I'm making fun of Michael, and it's just good. It's good to have some support there, right?
That's everybody's favorite thing, I guess. It's just adding fuel to that fire. Yeah.
I can't help it.
So no, it was. Oh, go for it.
I was going to ask you, hey, so jump in, when Kim decided to, or you had how that conversation took place, when Kim took on a more active role in the business, what did you see as far as where the value was that she could add? What about Kim that you think hey, that would be great for her to do that, because I know she could just crush doing that?
Ooh, wait a minute, Michael. We have to take a step back for a second. Yeah, just a little bit, because I think that one thing that I didn't really talk about when we were saying how did I start with you, was this from the beginning? This was definitely not something that either one of us had any intentions of or desires for.
Okay, all right.
I grew up with a stay-at-home mom. I have 4 older brothers. I was literally my mom's entire life. I wanted nothing more than to be like my mom. That was my idol. Then I had kids and realized that maybe I didn't have the same skills. Maybe I didn't have the same mindset. I was very different than my mom. But that was something that Michael and I for so long is what we foresaw our future being, was him working, running a business, and me staying home with our kids and being a homemaker. And I think that it really took a pretty serious effort on both of our parts to kind of let go of what we saw that, or what we thought that was going to be, and really I mean, huge on Michael, like seeing that I was not fulfilled in what I was doing and creating that space. Well, maybe a little bit of space. I'm a little pushy, but creating that space for me to be able to like come in and really be his partner rather than like digging in his heels and being like, no, you said, you said.
I did for a little bit.
A little.
You said. Yeah, no, I like, to Kimberly's point, like we got married young and we had a clear picture in our head, almost, you know, like at the time I viewed it as like a commitment agreement of some sort, like where it was like, no, like
What, marriage? Yeah, marriage is a commitment, Michael. That's
well,
kind of
no,
the whole
like,
thing, you know?
I mean,
that's how it works, buddy.
no, the piece of like I felt like we went into this and it was like, all right, I promise I'm gonna bust my ass, I'm gonna make us a bunch of money.
Yep.
And she you know, she's you know, promise, again, this is where I'm saying, like, the commitment is the marriage. The commitment is the marriage, like, no matter what, no matter how much you realize that your priorities were actually not aligned in the first place, right? Yep. That's the commitment piece of it. But for us, like, or for me, for like the first little bit, I don't know, I grew up with divorced parents. I had like 7 brothers and sisters, but none of them are full siblings. So we all just kind of like bounced back and forth. And
Gotcha.
what it did is it created a very like insanely strong, almost narcissistic sense of like individualism. And so I had a really, really hard time with the idea of Kimberlee being so involved in every part of my life, of anybody being like, my parents were never involved on that level of my life. I never had any best friends that like were involved in that level of my life. And so I had a really, really hard time with letting go of the idea of like having these compartments in my life where it's like, I get to go to work and I get to, you know, be this person, and then I get to go home and I get to be this person for my family. And, you know, I had a really hard time letting go of that. And again, I like also because of the like broken home like background, I just always had this vision of like white picket fence and married and my wife staying home with my kids, and my kids always have their mom and all this stuff. And even as I describe it like that now, like it's hard to even remember how much I was like, I wanted that, we wanted that. Because it became so evident after a little bit that like this isn't what makes Kimberlee like happy. And thank goodness we went through kind of identifying that early, because early on it was like what Kimberlee said, it was just like finding stuff, like finding the gaps for her to kind of plug up, right? And then a couple things happened in our business that really forced like put me in a spot of like on the verge of mental breakdown. Like if I didn't have somebody else to carry that shit with me, I don't know where I would be. I don't know where Empower would be. And so being in that spot, combined with us already kind of going through, like us kind of wrapping our mind around the idea of like, okay, you're not, like the stay-at-home mom life, white picket fence, you know, but like that's not going to be our life, and that's okay. And like, you wouldn't be happy that way, and if you're not happy, I'm not happy, that sort of thing. Thank goodness we had already gone through that, because having gone through that, when we did come across a situation where it was like, God, I need somebody, like I need somebody to help carry this load. She was ready to step in and had already been doing a lot of the like more clear, like had been plugged in enough to the business to know how little she knew and how much she needed to like really dive in. And that was probably about a year and a half ago, followed by another like huge like step in that area about 6 months ago. But yeah, it's been, I mean, again, I like nothing but positive things to say at this point. It's like I used to joke, I didn't joke. I used to say Kimberlee, like when I was younger, Kimberlee is my compass. Like I've made some of my best life decisions based off of like trying to make my wife, like trying to like provide the life for my wife that I wanted to provide for her. And like I have a healthier outlook on our relationship at this point than to think that like that's my only value and worth and role. But at the same time, like it's still freaking true to this day, is like the fact that Kimberlee didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom and had kind of forced the issue of like being more and more involved with Empower. Just one day it ended up being the best, like the absolute best freaking thing, that she had been doing that. And now it's like, God, what would have happened if she wasn't doing that,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you would have failed for sure.
She's like, she knows. Like, she's like, that would have been bad. That would have been really bad if I hadn't stepped in. But so switching gears to that though. So when you did come, like, did you know like what kind of role you wanted to have in Empower? What assets and what things that you brought to the table that, like, hey, this is a blind spot that we're having. This is something that like, Michael's not great at, but I am. And that's what we had, that's how it is, right? Like forget marriage, but any business relationship, when you bring on someone of like a partner or someone else to run, is like, hopefully you're not hiring someone that's like if both of you guys like suck at details, then you guys are going to magnify the sucking.
We
at
do a
details,
little bit.
right? Yeah, well, like making reservations, that type of stuff.
Yes,
I get that. But I'm talking about like, where did you and we'll ask you, Kim, and then like Michael, you could kind of like say like what you saw maybe, but like where did you see like, hey, I could get in, I could do this, even if I don't really have experience doing it. I know from like whether it's relationship, like mechanical, tactical, like what did you see where you could step in and help?
Yeah, so before like Michael was talking about that like really big shift that like we truly like became business partners maybe a year and a half ago, I was our director of people. Like I did all of our onboarding, I was recruiting, all of our admin stuff. I was like managing our finance manager. All of the like admin stuff was really what I was handling. And so it was I knew that I already like could handle that part, but I didn't know enough about like our product and high level itself and like the services that we offered. Like I didn't know enough about that to be able to really help on the level that like I needed to be able to help. So I knew that I could work with clients. I knew that like I could work with training our employees, but I didn't know what to train them. And so I think that like the biggest hurdle for me was learning the technical things and like learning more about high level, because in our previous life, obviously, that Michael was a loan officer. I was a real estate agent. I have a fairly high IQ. I can understand what Michael's talking about when he was talking about mortgages. So I've been with him through all of that. Like I know mortgages, I know the industry, but like I didn't know our product and I didn't know our services. And so like that was the gap. And so it really felt like I knew as long as I could fill that gap, that I had already like the people skills and the management skills to be able to like fill in those gaps where necessary.
Yeah, and I think that's important because of the knowledge, right? Because at the end of the day, high level, it's a product. It's a technology, right? Just like a Word, Excel, like it's something that it's a piece of technology that you could learn, take courses, whatever. Can you learn about mortgage and real estate by like watching YouTube? Sure, you can learn like just a very, very high overview of how things work, but the fact that you understand it as being in the business, and that's where I think a lot of these companies that try to start running an agency or a technology startup of some kind in the mortgage industry without any experience, there's one argument to like, well, it's good to have an outsider's perspective because they look at things differently. That's great. But there's also a lot of knowledge debt that they don't have. And then so when they're trying to like when I love seeing people that try to like work with like loan officers for the first time without understanding the dynamic.
It's so painful.
It's painful to see that. And so when you understand it, like that's been one of my benefits is like, I've been a part of all these different types of anything and everything within the industry that like, I at least understand it. I may not like, I'm not doing any type of hedging on the back end in the secondary market, but I understand it and I understand how it works and I understand what the people do and their responsibilities, whereas opposed to like someone that comes out and then they try to start running and like, hey, I'm just going to acquire these clients and have no idea how the business runs. I think that, it would be one thing if like he was a loan officer and you just happened to just be around it. But the fact that you're a real estate agent and actually in the business, in the industry, understanding the relationships, understand like that dynamic between loan officer and agent and everything in between, to me, that's why what it does is it enhances the product comparably to someone that doesn't have that background, doesn't have that understanding, trying to do the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I
so
could
much.
not imagine. I can't imagine
that's-
trying to do this without the like background that I have. Like it would, yeah, it seems impossible.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Is like it's not even. I mean, you like there are so many little things in interactions with our clients that just like without. I mean, shit. It's hard to imagine for anybody because within our office, we physically, so we have two employees that like remote in, and then we have two employees in addition to us here physically right now. And of those, one of them was a processor. Like his first job with us was a processor for our mortgage brokerage that we like ran in 2019 or 2020. No, it was
19
like
and 20.
20 and 21, something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. So 19, 20, 21. So we had a mortgage brokerage, and he was his first role with us was a processor. And then now he's been with us now for 5-6 years. And I forget how much that even limited experience comes into play. And then we think about Nick, our operations manager, who has no experience in the mortgage industry, and even just the difference in his ability to talk, like communicate with our clients from before he bought his first house to after he bought his first house. Mm-hmm. Even just that was like monumental. And so that's one of the things that we have recognized and given credit to in the last 3 or 4 months that we like probably didn't give enough credit to before, is like how valuable that mortgage experience is. And like you got to combine it. You have to combine it with some level of empathy, because there's plenty of people in this business that have done it but have never picked their head up and looked around enough to like know any more than what their individual experience was.
Totally. Yep.
So just experience doesn't do it, but having experience with a level of like empathy and like a questioning mindset, a curious mindset, it's been a good recipe for us. And I know that it's something as we grow, we're going to be looking for like more people that have that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that made a huge, like when I think about when I was recruiting and like onboarding people and training and stuff, for a very long time, like it was a plus if you had mortgage experience. Like if you had experience in high level, like done son, I don't care if you have mortgage experience. And I think that it has become really apparent that like what you were saying, like you can learn a technology, like you can learn how to manage these things. Being able to have industry knowledge over a short amount of time, trying to like fire hose, give that to someone like is just next to impossible. Like you can fire hose someone with enough like information and training on a technical product that like they can pick it up, they'll get it. But like you can only pour so much into trying to get someone 10 years worth of knowledge transferred to them.
And that's an important distinction, because I've been on the other side of that, working with people that don't have that and seeing, and that's what I liked, is when, watching you guys just operate and on the calls. And then when I did the office hours, just to see like, it's different, because you only, I think if you have like what we have as far as like our experience and expertise in the industry, you see it when it's not there, right? You see it with the way the communication, you see it with how things go. And I think that's why what we do is, to me, look, anyone could do high level, right? But the way that we've paired that with the service, and a lot of people don't get to see that because they're not on like the internal meetings, but the ones that I've been on, the last few ones, is what you all at home don't see, is you truly see the desire and purpose that is, how do we make our clients win, right? And talking and just sharing the personal stories of the clients, and when some of them are having a rough time, like how can they help them? And so like that's what I've seen, that's what I've appreciated in my short time with you guys, and but it also comes to your point, Michael, about like the empathy is understanding what it's like, and that's just something you can't teach. It's not something that you can onboard or whatever. It's just they have to see it and understand it. And I say this all the time: our industry is just different. I've worked in other industries, other verticals, other financial, hedge funds, startups, venture capital, private banking, and I've seen it all, insurance, and it's just this industry is just different, and that's important. And then when you get to mix your background with that, with the product, with the solution, things come together in a cool way, right? And that's what I've enjoyed seeing, and you guys managed to do that and not kill each other, right? Like, because you're spending a lot of time together, and that's just anybody, just like that. It's not just because Michael is who he is, but it's just like it's just kidding, but like
that does make it more impressive for sure.
No, if my wife was like in the background, she'd be like, I don't know who you're talking about, like you're lucky I can kill you every single time. But when you spend a lot of time with someone, right? Like even when hey, husband, wife, you love each other, right? You respect each other, but at the end of the day, especially like after, and how long you guys been married?
10 years.
10, yeah, right. So like after a decade, and then you decide like, hey, cool, let's like spend even more time together. Like it's tough, right? Like I love my mom to death. I don't wanna spend every single minute with her. It's like
Michael requires a tiny bit more space than I do. Like he said, he's always had a lot of individualism. I had quite the opposite, like upbringing that he did. I had the same best friend since I was 2 years old, and that was like my person. And
her mom calls her every day, multiple times
a
day.
Okay.
And it's not just me; it's all five of us, all five of the kids. She just goes through a cycle. She calls one, calls the next, calls the one, next. And so I have not, and I was like a very competitive dancer, and so we're talking same girls and same coach 7 days a week for most of my life. And so that just kind of feels normal to me. Like if you were my best friend or you were someone that I spent time with, like I spent basically my entire life with you. And so I'm more used to that. He requires only a tiny bit more. He really doesn't require as much alone time as I think people would expect from me.
She broke me.
I did.
Very well is what she
I did.
Yeah.
I did. He used to require more, but maybe I got less annoying or something. I don't know. And
it's
so it's not me. Okay.
It's not you. I require a lot of alone, not alone time. I mean, I work by myself, but like, it's like I need that time, right? I need that, as does my wife, right? Like she's got, she's the lion's share of taking care of the kids and stuff like that. So she needs her, alone time, not really alone from me, but alone from like the kids and the responsibilities and stuff like that. So I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
And I kind of think that that's how it is with us, like as well, that it's not necessarily like alone time that's required like from each other. It's almost like alone time from like our other roles.
Yep.
It's like you have to be cognizant and like intentional about like, okay, now we're hanging out and like we're chilling.
Yeah.
We're not.
It's almost like we have to be intentional about spending more time with each other. It's just making sure that time is different. That time is more deliberate. That it's like we're spending more time with each other. Why? Because we haven't had, like, we've been spending all of this time together, but we haven't had a date night in a couple weeks or whatever it is. Exactly. So it's like being intentional about spending more time together differently. And on that, like I want to bring this up, and I hope it doesn't like open up a giant can of worms, because I know we're coming up on time here. But I just like, it was something that I was thinking about on the way here, that it just like, if I feel like the economy, like economic conditions make a big difference in somebody's life, like at what point in time they're coming across what economic conditions or what conditions in their business or whatever it is. Like I think with inflation where it's at, and like how incomes relative to like work and the number of hours worked has changed so much over the years. Like I think that it's going to be like, this arrangement is going to have to become more like, it's going to be more common among successful people, because like 2 is better than 1, you know, and the sum of the parts is greater than the whole if you're doing it right. I just like, to me, like, it's hard after living this way, it's hard to imagine marriage being what like I pictured it as a kid. And I just like have this feeling that it's like, man, with how much business is changing as rapidly as it is, like having somebody that you're that much in lockstep with, that you're navigating the business environment with, and the economy, and all and hiring people and regulatory and all that stuff, like having somebody that you spend that much time with and know that well, that knows you that well, to go through all of that with, like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't end up being a trend, but I wouldn't fucking trade it for anything. Like, it's a game changer for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I couldn't imagine it any other way, but I definitely can. I know too many people who are like, yeah, absolutely not. You could not pay me enough money to do that. It would ruin our relationship.
Yeah.
So many people say that. It would ruin our relationship. And like, I think that it takes, takes a special kind of person. It takes a special kind of partnership to be able to make that work. And so I totally understand, like, financially and like just like the word you were saying, like effectiveness. 100%. Like, we are so much more effective than we could be if I was working a separate job or running a separate business or things like that. Like he said, like the sum of the two is far more than the whole. But I think that definitely could not be the case for some people.
Yeah, totally. like yeah, it's just, again, it's all on how you look. Cause like I'm built, like I could go, like I'll go 2 weeks without calling my mom, right? Like, or talking to my mom, right? And, you know, and sometimes I've gone longer, and, and she lets me know about it when I do. But the thing is, it's just because of the way I'm built, and I'm like hyper focused on what I do. And it's the same thing with like my kids and like, you know, and my wife, and, you know,
you go 2 weeks without talking to your wife?
No.
I'm just kidding.
That's what we call an absentee father, Frazier.
He's like, those fucking kids, it goes 2 weeks and they start blowing my phone up.
I don't even show up, but like, it's funny. It's like, cause when we got married, cause I told, like, so like this will give you an idea, right? So when I got married to my wife, like, or when we were dating, and, you know, as things were getting serious, and I said, look, if like we're at our anniversary, and this is when I worked for the hedge fund, and I said, look, you know, I'm like, my role always been like the in case of emergency break glass guy, like when I was an engineer. And so like, we're talking about like an $8 billion hedge fund. Like, there wasn't like, I'll get to it in a few hours sort of thing. Right. And so I said, look, if my BlackBerry goes off like during like our anniversary dinner, then like you're probably finishing dinner by yourself, and I gotta go, right? Like, so I set expectations, because it's not like that's just who I am, and it's not a right or wrong thing, but like it's more of just to set the expectation of like, that's like, work is always going to be a thing, right? And so family's always first, right? And I've gotten better over the years, especially when we had kids, but it's different, right? So like that same piece probably wouldn't work as well with her, even though we've done stuff. And I've talked about, like, as I'm doing my thing now, is like bringing her in to help me with, you know, some of the consulting and, you know, maybe just the communication and stuff, because she's really good at that. And she's doing her own thing. But like, I think what I've appreciated just with this conversation, and what I think the value is to that, because I had a couple calls this week with husband-wife teams, right? Like real estate and mortgage, and then 2 mortgage, you know, husband-wife teams, and a lot of them are just starting off. And I think this is just when you're going to work, and forget the marriage piece, maybe it's your brother, maybe it's your sister, right? Or whatever it happens to be, is that you got to understand, like, the dynamic. It all sounds good, but when you bring family into the mix, it's a different environment, it's a different perspective, but you cannot gloss over it as just being like another person on the team.
Normal.
Right? Like,
absolutely.
you try to treat it like, you know, you want to obviously be like fair to everyone, but at the same time understand that there's just always going to be a different personal dynamic. And how do you approach that and manage that when the bumps and bruises happen, so that it doesn't, so all the walls don't come tumbling down, but it's just simply just like, okay, understand it, expectations, and then work through it.
Yeah. And I mean that just because we've gotten the marriage thing down, and like we can be married and work together, we've had a lot of experience with working with family that definitely hasn't worked out that way.
I was just gonna say, like, you choose your spouse, right? Like you get
Yes.
the opportunity at one point to say, this is who I want to marry. This is who I want to spend my life with. This is who I'm committing to. That's not the case with your family. And so like when you get into those situations where you learn shit about your family members that you didn't know and understand before, and then you realize, wait a minute, I never fucking chose this. Like, it's just it's a little bit different from my experience than working with a spouse, where it's like, no, I did choose this. Like I did, like, this is my commitment. This is our partnership. This is my life. So that definitely makes a difference, where, you know, we've come across hard times, where it's like, just like with our marriage, like there's no back door. There's no, you know, there's no way out. There's just like the issue in front of us, and we just got to freaking navigate it. And I think that's really the superpower that you know, if you don't have that kind of relationship with your spouse or whoever it is that you're working with,
you've got to be able to sit on the same side of the table and look at that problem on the other side of the table, and know every time that you guys are sitting on the same side of the table, no matter how it feels.
What I took away is that Michael looks at marriage as there's no way out. So like,
no way out. Oh, he knows.
That's
you die or you stay
no
married.
Way out. That's the name of the episode. No way out.
No way out. No way out. He is blessed. He should be thankful.
That's my next newsletter title.
No way out.
No way out.
The popular no reservations is no way out. So awesome. All right. Well, hey, look, you know what? Now that you brought it up, I think that's how we should end this episode. It's just a quick recap of when we had our mastermind in Scottsdale. So you guys, if you guys aren't subscribing to No Reservations, you should, because it's a semi-decent newsletter that Michael puts together. And it's good. But the reason, you know, No Reservations, why that's funny, and this is a conversation that we actually really should have Hammer on here for too. But so we were ending our Scottsdale mastermind, and Michael's like, hey, let's all, you know, go get dinner. And, you know, so what Michael did, what anyone would do, is like, hey, I'm not from here. Let me ask, like, what's the good, you know, like a hibachi place nearby, or just a good restaurant to eat. I don't know how you know, one or the other, but like, what's a good place?
I was sold on hibachi.
He was sold on hibachi. Like, he said it probably throughout the entire event, was just like, he was just yelling it out. And then so like after the event, we were like, we're going to hibachi. So what's the best hibachi place around here? Oh, cool. We'll just, you know, whatever, go to hibachi place. But I don't know, in my world, I'm thinking like, look, if you're asking me like, what's the best hibachi place, like a nice, not like a Benihana's, but like a nice hibachi place, like you might just, I don't know, call ahead and get a reservation, especially when it's a good amount of people. So Hammer and I get there early. We get there early, and then
it's
on
worse
time.
because
earlier than us.
I coordinated a time with everybody. I told.
Oh yeah, he was inviting people.
Oh, yeah,
he was like, anyone who wants to go, just meet us at this time.
Exactly, right? So thank you for like, almost left that part out. Like, hey, like, yeah, come here, whatever. There's stuff, you know. So Hammer and I get there, and we get there a little early, and so of course Hammer and I are on time, like we're ready to go. We go to the you know, the hostess, and we're like, yeah, probably reservations. I think we had like, you know, 8 or something like that. I said reservations 8, and maybe it's under. And I'm like, Michael McAllister, and they're like, no, and I'm like, and then Hammer like, oh, Kim probably made the reservation, right? So like, then we go like, maybe it's under Kim. No, I'm like, Hammer, Frazier, like, and I'm like, so we, and the entire time, like, him and I are texting Michael like, hey, did you get? And then like, of course, there's like not any instant response at all. It was just like,
I was driving, trying to be safe. Of course, he was driving,
right? So like, and then finally he's like, did you make a reservation? No, like, just show up, just walk in.
We live in Idaho, Frazier. You don't have to make reservations here. There's not enough people.
So what? But it ended up being a happy event because now we have a story to tell. And then we ended up going to Benihana's.
Yeah, we
And,
had to go somewhere else because it was an hour and a half wait.
I think it was
on
it
a
Benihana's
Thursday.
or was it something
It was
else?
Benihana's.
It was Benihana's. Yeah. So we went to Benihana's, which had no problem taking walk-ins. That gives you any idea. No problem taking walk-ins. I think we were like the third group.
And then
there.
Hammer paid the waiter to sing "Happy Birthday" to
Oh
Michael.
yeah, and then we made it Michael's birthday for just for fun, and so like you had to wear the hat, and you guys have probably seen the pictures, but that is how again that was a fun, and Ashley Corville was with us, and Amy was so it was just Roy, and so it was a good nice night having fun, and I think that's what actually made it fun. There and then just a side note, there was a couple in front of us at the other hibachi, and they made reservations for the wrong restaurant. That's in a different town. And then we got there, Hammer and I were kind of like making fun of them, like when we were just kind of like not making fun of them, but just like because they were getting mad about it. It's like, oh, it's your fault. Like you made the reservation for the wrong restaurant. It's not their fault, right? And then and then during the restaurant, I look over and that couple is sitting at the other table.
Oh yeah, at Benihana's.
And I was like, Hammer, look, it's those people that were like all pissed off, and they're here with Benny, and they weren't happy. They were not happy to be at Benihana's. You could tell the wife was not happy. But anyway, it's just a funny story, and but yeah, that's how No Reservations was born, and here we are, and it continues to this day. It just continues to this day. So so hey guys, thanks for braving having this conversation and talking about kind of like the dynamics and what you guys do. And I think it comes through. I know the clients have mentioned a lot about, Kim being great from like a relationship standpoint and stuff like that. And I think it's great. I think it's great. I've enjoyed it being a part of the team and working with you guys. And so I think this was just a fun conversation to have. If anybody, our two biggest fans, your kids have enjoyed it for sure. And so with that, any last words, Michael, or other than No Way Out?
No way out. That's what I was gonna say.
No
Hashtag
way
no
out.
way out.
That's it.
We'll leave at
Hashtag
that.
No Way Out. All right, I love it. Well, on behalf of the McAllisters, I am Frazier. This is the MLO Project powered by Empower LO, the best high-level instance you're ever going to see in your entire life in this mortgage industry. Check us out.
That's the first accurate thing you've said. That's like a true one when you say that.
Well, yeah. Well, I always like to do at least have I have all my lies and then one truth, and then that way, it all comes
Perfect.
together, right? So, guys, everything's in the show notes. Check us out. Give us some feedback. Give us a review. We appreciate everyone. I think we're up to like 24 reviews. I think we're like 4.7. We're not at 5-star, and that's definitely because of Michael. 100% because of Michael that we're not at 5-star.
Is this on Spotify or
no?
where is this?
Apple. I think we're like 4.7 or whatever.
Can we see who left the shitty review?
No, it doesn't tell us.
I know, I'm just kidding. It would-
definitely-
Michael, just come
it's probably
after them.
It's probably the guy that got mad at you for sending out the Grant Cardone book.
Oh yeah, that was probably it.
He docked us 0.3 on the on the reviews. So, all right, my friends, catch you on the next episode, and I'll enjoy listening to this episode. Guys.
See ya.
Bye.